Welcome to MK Channel 40 News, and it's the end of the week, 3rd of July, would you believe? And we do a summary. Sometimes we have reviewers, sometimes I fly this solo, and this could well be the very last news program in this style. We're talking about doing different formats, more of discussion shows, and hopefully live events on a regular basis. And what I'm going to be doing is putting a poll out to our members and seeing what you would actually like to do. We can carry on doing this summary and trying to bring together the very best news that we found around Milton Keynes. So that's what I'm attempting to do right now. I'll take you into all of the information that I've been able to gather over the last few days, and hopefully it'll help make sense of what's been going on. And there has been rather a lot going on, actually. So let me just get you onto the opening story, and we'll begin. So first off, we're doing quite well. The latest testing data shows a drop in the number of corona cases across Milton Keynes. But the issue is, at the moment, that the pandemic is speeding up. And there was a survey which was done recently. In fact, I think it came out this morning, which said that most people would back a lockdown if we needed it. And just listening to Boris just now, it's very clear that going to try local lockdowns, we've seen Leicester go down, but they will try that tactic rather than take the whole country down. But people know that this is the only way at the moment to try and stop further pandemics. So at the moment we're in a bit of a knife edge in a very interesting weekend where a lot more facilities, including pubs, will be opening. Moving on, just in terms of fundraising, Coriana's found a little bit of information on NOTS. It's a charity that helps people that need to get their kids into sports and activities if they're ill, if they're patients, and it also helps the homeless. And Carl Haniff, who's been a mainstay in our group and doing a huge amount for the community, is running a boxing for boys and girls with Keep Fit, really. They're not going to be breaking social distancing rules, but they are going to be doing a lot of fitness exercises related to boxing. And that's this Saturday at 10 a.m. So I would suggest that you get down to Great Linford to the Memorial Hall, and if you want more information, there's the phone number. It's on our Facebook group. All the information that we're giving you at the moment is on our Facebook group. There's dozens of bits of information, and this is really just the highlights. So let me just take you into the next story. There's an appeal going out for HUK in Milton Keynes, and that looks really good. They've raised quite a lot of money, I think over £7,000, 169 donors to date. Also, talking about getting the families together, older members and younger members, there's a really good guide the BBC published on how families and friends can safely visit. So that's worth checking out. There's quite a lot of guides that we've found that we've posted which are going to help, including this one, which I think is going to be an essential for you pubs and bar lovers. It really is a good guide to all the things that you need to do, the use of apps, the way that pubs are going to organise the food delivery to your table, all of the rules and things like giving your details. Now apparently a pub can refuse to serve you. You don't have to give them your details, but they can refuse to serve you. And I don't see why people should cooperate, but there's a big issue when you actually look at the problems that we're facing with the lockdown, because we have track and trace, but 20% of people are refusing to collaborate and cooperate with the track and trace. So it's all about information sharing, and I can't see any good reason why people wouldn't want to do that unless they've got something to hide. Anyway, this is quite an important appeal. It's for one of our very own golden angels. This is Naseem Khan. Now, I did very early videos when we started MK Channel 40, and I remember doing something literally in my pyjamas. It was an emergency appeal to try and get Naseem off the ground with support to get her deliveries out. And then we had a really good response around her, which was fantastic to see. She is facing closure because although the restaurants and cafes can open, the type of premises she has in Wolverton won't allow that. And she desperately needs some help. She doesn't have the capital to reinvest and build on the outside, but she could potentially do that. But maybe somebody's got a gazebo, maybe somebody's a carpenter that can give a hand. But there's somebody special here with Naseem. This lady, you can just see her featured in the bottom left, has been delivering food well before the pandemic. And you can read her heartfelt situation in the blog that we've reposted. Please do read that. And if you know anybody out there that can help an angel like Naseem, that would be hugely, hugely appreciated. Let's keep her going. Moving on, the posts that Alan JD are always most welcome, and he's also found some news about supporting St John's Ambulance, and apparently it's Amazon who are doing a lot to actually back this community service, which we really love, and I think Alan JD himself is part of that service, so really good to see. Also, Coriana's posted a general appeal from the COVID-19 Emergency Response Appeal, which is an MK Community Foundation. MK Community Foundation is a central body in Milton Keynes that pulls together and organises the charities and tries to get them as much central funding as possible, and also gives them advice and mentoring. But they're running a central appeal and then sharing the funds out. So that's a really good way to donate, and it's working very well at the moment. Also, M&S have been doing their bit, and they've got some amazing shoppers who've contributed over £15,000 for the NHS, which is really good to see. And more fundraising going on and support with Hubbub. And they are recycling food that is just coming up to sell-by date so it doesn't get wasted. So they're a Food Connect organisation and really doing great work in MK for those that are unable to afford the food that they really need. Oh, and these guys have been out doing some bare-bottom riding and raised a lot more than £30 from what I can see. I'm not sure where that £30 comes from, but they made the headlines for all the right reasons. The barefaced cheek of them to do this, but wonderful video that we shared. It just shows that charity and fun go together. Now, there has been talk of us doing a cycle ride, but I can promise you that I will not fit into one of these costumes. So I'm not going to do it, no matter how much you might donate. But we are going to try and organise something like that. I'm thinking that maybe we go out to Winslow. It's a really good track. It's the cycle route number 51. And we can maybe organise that. I'm thinking possibly a Friday evening, but it's kind of weather dependent. And if we can raise a little bit of money for charity, then all well and good. But message me if you're up for that, especially Alan JD. I know that he's a keen cyclist, and we can maybe have a picnic because there's a really nice park in Winslow, and maybe people who don't fancy cycling can join us. We can have our very first open air, safe distanced MK Channel 40 get together. So that's just an idea I want to float. Anyway, moving on. Corian's also focused on the Leicester Lockdown, and it's come to light that the numbers didn't include drive-through test results in a lot of the areas, and the numbers seem very, very messy, and maybe Leicester was picked on because they had better tracing and testing. I don't know, but it just seems at the moment there's been a lot of criticism about the level of consistency on test data. So this is one post that was picked up. It originates, you can see, from the FT, and it says that as many as 90% of new cases are missing from data. If that's true, my gosh, we have a problem. Talking about people and problems, this guy's been solving problems at the MK University Hospital and been a huge benefit to the community in terms of dialogue and keeping everybody informed. And he's on MK FM, and there's an Ask MK Hospital's CEO questions. So if you want to get your questions to Professor Joe Harrison, use MK FM and their show to poll your questions. Also, Susan St. Moore, one of our regular reviewers, has also posted something about the coronavirus test centre employees being charged for parking. Now, I'm not sure where that story is coming from, but I know that there are places and there are services. I know Just Park was doing free parking for all essential workers. So it's something maybe that is a bit of a non-story, but I don't think these guys should be charged, it's my view. I don't want to get political, but there we go. Talking about other things to get out this weekend, this could be a great alternative to just sitting on your bottom and having a pint in a pub waiting in a queue. It's a fantastic event being run by Energy Fitness, who are just round the corner from the studio that I'm broadcasting from in Milton Keynes. Now, Energy Fitness have done a poll, and in that poll they've asked, where would you like to be, just in a pub having a drink, or coming along and doing some exercise? And it was unanimous, and you're pleased to see that 4 times as many people would really love to get down to Energy Fitness. They're doing a burger and bar, and I think a great way to meet those guys and get yourself fitter and stronger to beat the pandemic. Moving on then, Cineworld. How can this be? I don't think it's a good decision, and a lot of people agree. We had a huge amount of feedback saying that it's the last place on earth they'd want to go right now. And you know, guys, in government, I know you're not listening, I'm just going to vent my spleen, but why is it that theatres can't open but cinemas can? And you know, they're the same kind of venues, and yet theatres are right on the edge, begging for government funding to try and keep as many venues open as possible. But cinemas, just, I don't know, it just doesn't seem sane. But there are a lot of inconsistencies cropping up right now. Now, this is useful in terms of sharing just a full detailed plan. So if we do get into an outbreak, how Milton Keynes are going to control it. I think it's a really important strategy and document because it means that if we do, for any reason, and I don't think that's likely, our figures are looking extremely good, but if we do have a local outbreak, like the one that we had with Westcroft, that there's a structured plan to help Milton Keynes stay open for business. Willand Lake is also open today, so if you fancy a stroll in the I think it's pretty grey and cloudy out there, but why not treat yourself this weekend and have a good walk around there. And facilities are opening, that's the key thing, because you've been able to get round it, but now some of the activities, you know, the boating and swimming, etc., are going to be available. Just also a little bit of a plug, MK Charity Gift Back, our MK Charity Bounce Back and Give Back scheme. This was launched on MKFM just over a week ago, and we would like to try and get businesses using our services, because what we will do is they will nominate, if they're a Milton Keynes business, a Milton Keynes charity, and then I am going to give 20% of the revenues, whatever those are, whether it's £50 or £500, I'm going to give that and give that to a charity of their choice and try and use our business bounce back to give back. So if you are a business and you need any form of video, of marketing, of social media, that will help me keep this service going, and it will also help me give 20% back. There is an advert on MKFM that you can listen to, but why not just go to mkchannel40.com and you can pick up on the latest offers. Now I'm going to improve some of those offers over the weekend, so just do stay posted. Right, what else can I put out to you in terms of good news? The schools are getting back in September, but the problem, they say, is in the longer term. So, you know, the question is, how do we get the kids back, deal with the psychological issues, protect the teachers and the care, the people that care for the school children, and also control the effects of transmission, especially with young kids, on adults. So the whole thing is really a gigantic experiment, and I guess there's going to be a lot more information and guidelines, but it's happening. It's good news for a lot of parents to be able to get their children to school, and I think it's vitally important for the children as well. It's gone on far too long. Also, Alan JD has posted the fact that we've now got yet one more study that's saying face masks save lives, and I'm glad to see the government have made it mandatory on public transport. This is also an initiative that I mentioned last week. It is going fantastically well. This is a lady called Barsha Mukherjee, who is Miss England. And she's also an NHS doctor who's been working in the front line in an NHS hospital. And that's her mother on the left-hand side. And they're on a new program. It's a drug-free program which will help beat all of the things that make you more susceptible to coronavirus, like blood pressure and like diabetes. By the way, why I'm plugging this is I've been on it myself. I weighed about 2.5 stone more at the beginning of the outbreak, and I think that's quite unusual because a lot of people during the outbreak have been eating and putting on weight, and I've not starved. I've not had to have a calorie restricted diet. I've just gone on to this new program, and it is a very, very clever program. But I think it's one of the keys to boosting chances of beating coronavirus for the long term. So do check out Pro Longevity and Barsha Mukherjee and her mother's blog. It is amazing stuff that they're doing. Right, so moving on. This is the exact opposite. Susan St. Moore has a bit naughty here. She's published, I don't know why McDonalds need the benefit of free advertising. So Susan, you and I are going to have some gentle words about this. But you know, the healthy element there is probably the protein and the egg. So the rest of it, not so sure. You know, Susan's a great believer in giving people treats. The same thing was said of cigarettes back in the 1950s. Doctors used to give them to patients to calm their nerves down. It's the same playbook, but not for me, I'm afraid. Could you be a coronavirus social bubble? Some very useful advice there on all the ins and outs and the rules that could help you become a social bubble and help the elderly in the community feel better loved and better connected. So please do check that out. If there's somebody, a friend or somebody in the family that's been on their own over the last 3 months, then I think this could make a difference as a little post. So check that out, scroll down through our Facebook page. I also put this just to get people thinking. You know, lots of strange things happening in China. You'd almost think that there's a biological war going on, and I don't want to start any conspiracy theories. What I will say is all the world's historical pandemics seem to start in China, going back to the plague. They sweep across. It's a very large population and, you know, breeding ground for a lot of cross-contamination between species. They have a different diet to us. And what you're seeing is this emergence of more virus threats. The thing is now the world is extremely switched on. This one so far, humans are catching it from pigs, but it's not doing human-to-human transmission. But they're very concerned that this is like swine flu Mark II, and on a population that's been heavily weakened by coronavirus, maybe just one of those things that could just be an added complication. But I don't want to dwell too much on that, so let's move on. What I do want to dwell on is the things we can spot, and this is disgusting. We have some terrible people in our community. We've had things like the fairy garden being kicked to pieces, and then you've got these idiots spitting and all over cash machines which people need. All I can say is avoid anything that looks messy or dirty. It's disgusting. Report any of these idiots. Don't try to intervene. Take pictures from a distance, get the police involved. But, you know, it's just the wrong type of thing. And it always happens, I'm afraid. There are some truly sick individuals that really disgust me. So anyway, that is everything. That is the end of week summary. I've survived doing it again on my own. Again, if you think that we need to stop or that there's a better format, I'm thinking maybe we do more of a talk show. We need more people to join us and act as reviewers. Maybe get some special guests and feature charities. The other thing that I have had people ask occasionally to do videos, and we did quite a lot to begin with, and I was hoping that we would get more charities actually joining and giving us a chance to interview them, because we can then broadcast it not just to our own group of over 2,000 members, but we connect to nearly a dozen other groups in Milton Keynes, which gives a reach of 20,000 people across Milton Keynes. It's something that they can add to their own media. We can do a professional interview with them, and we can also maybe start sending cameras out. But for any charity or community organisation, it is free. It's part of what I wanted to do, and we would like more people contacting us with their news and stories. It's very easy. Contact me on the Facebook group and I'll be there to help. So from myself, from the team, from those people in the background like Alan J.D., Corianne, Susan St. Moore, Melanie, who is one of our guest reviewers, and all the other people that put great posts. Thank you so much for what you do. Have a great weekend. Maybe get a little bit more of your life back together again. You know, follow Boris's advice on using the pub if you fancy a drink, and stay safe. And we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.